I'm feeling it, feel the glass when you tap them away. Feel the legs pushing up on the ceiling. Feel the high that you get from the line. If you feel it reach hell in the sky.
Flows through my veins quickly as I chill and listen to the
Hello everyone, welcome back to The Underground. I'm your host Quintin, and we're sitting here with Nightwolf from FFL. We're going to be talking music today, the ins and outs of the music business, on being signed and being independent and all that great stuff. So we're in for a great show. So first of all, tell us who you are and all about the label.
All right, what's up? I'm Nightwolf from FFL. Signed to New Limit Entertainments, the NLE family. Basically, I'm just an artist trying to make it independently. Like, you know, we just pretty much we came together as a family, and we continue building every day, and we just, you know, trying to
Make it happen, right?
Yeah, trying to keep it us, and not more so everybody handing what we do.
Yeah, that's a lot hard for people who are music fans, and that's what I want you to talk about. How do you feel about being an artist who is independent? And I know the workload has to be much greater, but why you and your label chose to stay independent as opposed to getting signed to a record label at this point in your career?
Cause basically, like when I first got signed on, my managers at the time, they had just created New Limits Entertainment.
Okay.
And before they used to be called Rejuvenated, but the label broke up because it was a dude on there trying to go mainstream, and he kind of took everybody with him and kind of, you know, did them over, left them in the dust. So when they made New Limits Entertainment, literally a week later, that's when I met them.
Oh, wow.
They decided to sign me, and I was the only artist signed to the label for about a year, and we started branching out after both of my projects started getting finished.
Wow, okay. And how long have you been on the label thus far?
It's going on 2 years now.
Good deal.
Yeah, it's going on 2 years now. It'll be 2
Okay.
years now.
I want to ask you a question. The first question is, like, what type, if you had to put your music and label it, how would you label the music that comes from your label?
The first word that comes to mind is random. Just because we hit on so many different elements, like even our singers.
I got you.
Nobody sounds, not only do anybody on my label sounds alike, we don't even sound like people that's out now.
So you guys are very versatile.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, you know, like we get different people all the time to say, well, y'all kind of sound like this person, but this person too, and then that, you know, like
you can't put your finger on it.
Right. And like, I mean, me personally, from what people have told me, hearing my writtens and, you know, hearing me freestyle, they say they hear a bit of Eminem, then they say they hear Scarface, then they say I sound like a West Coast rapper, and they say I sound like Tech Nine. So you know, it varies, and honestly, it's not that I'm trying to sound like them, it's just that that's how it comes out. Like, when I'm writing it down and the feeling in the song and everything else.
I feel that too. I tell people all the time that there's so much music out here, and it's been done for such a long time, that everything is kind of recreated in your own original way that makes sense. And to a lot of artists it does. To some people who are just fans of the music, they don't get that. I want to ask you something that we were actually talking about earlier, and it's the old school way of selling music as opposed to the new digital way of selling music. Now, me personally, I know that once there's an album up on iTunes, you can buy the whole album or you can buy one track.
Right.
And you know, they break up the album sales, so to speak. So you being an independent artist, are you guys doing more digital sales, or are you guys doing like, you know, like me and my friends used to do when I did music, and we were going straight out the backpack?
Well, honestly, it's probably a little easier doing it back in the day. Like the back in the day way, because with digital sales, you got to worry about fees for that to be on there, and putting it this place, that place, and you know, getting the free download button disabled, and you know what I'm saying. It's a lot that goes into it. I honestly feel that we would probably go the old school route and getting our music out there.
Of course.
Because I'd much rather hand somebody my CD rather than saying, you know, this the website you can go on to get it. Like,
yeah, because you have no control over that.
Right, and I also feel that shows, you know, I'm lazy about my, you know, about my plight. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if I hand it to you, you know that I'm confident in myself and I'm confident that you'll like this music.
Right.
So I would much rather do that to give a person a feel that, you know, I'm passionate about my craft, and that'll ultimately make them want to listen to me that much more.
You know, I tell people, for us, this is back in the day. You know, I'm older than a lot of other people that are currently still doing this, but I say that's how we built relationships. You know, because you know you always see us on Fridays at the car wash, same group of guys, and we're doing the same thing, handing out CDs. And then, you know, we may have done that for a couple of times, but then what happens is a relationship develops, and they're like, hey, what you got? And then they start asking for the music.
Right.
Then a while back, and I don't know about this one. You know, you're an artist, not me, so you can tell me your thoughts on this. Wale had made a statement that he never charged anyone for music. He always gave it away.
Now, I do agree with it in some factions, because honestly, my first 2 mixtapes, you know, which are my only 2 mixtapes I have out right now, but I didn't sell a copy. Like,
You gave them all away.
Now, there's 2 reasons why I did that. Because one, it's a mixtape. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It is my best work for a mixtape, but it's not my best work for an album. Like,
Not kind of like what that, Big Crit did. That
right,
he
but not saying that I will purposely not do well on the mixtape just because it's a mixtape, but just saying that it's a raw, rough cut of me.
Right.
So I wouldn't try to sell that to anybody, and at the same time, I wouldn't if I could, because of the simple fact that all of the beats that I used on both mixtapes aren't mine. Some of them are different artists, and I felt that I could do better, or I felt that I could do just as well on that beat. So I was like, let me get this beat and see what I can do to it, because I like that beat. You know what I'm saying?
Trey Songz kind of said the same thing too. He said, when you guys go buy the label product, you're getting how the label wants me presented to you. But when I give y'all these free mixtapes, this is the real Trey Songz.
And I want to talk about that too. And this is the difference between independent and, you know, mainstream. Mainstream, you have to let the label pretty much, you know, produce and push your CD the way they want you to sound. Independent, it's all us.
So, like, you know, what I tell people too, and you know, we talked about it before we went live, is that being on a label is kind of like having a job.
Right.
And then being independent, you're more like a business owner.
I mean, when it's independent, like, okay, like my jobs now, for example, not only do I have to write my own songs, halfway produce mine, because I have to, you know, when we work on original beats, I have to have a hand in those and, you know, everything else. But I also have to help other artists on my label where they need it or where I see fit. You know, with delivery, with songwriting, with just everything.
Yeah, and have them. So you know what you're probably doing is, if you were on a major label, they would call that artist development.
Right.
But what you're doing is you're being the veteran of the label, and you're leading them down the path you've already been down.
And that's honestly why I don't mind doing it.
And I tell you,
I'm like, I've been on down here.
You don't get that at major labels. Like, you just don't.
Right.
They expect you to have that when you get to that major label.
They will let you sing. They will let you sing. And if you have anything that they like, not only will they let you sync, but they'll take it while you're syncing. Pretty much kick you while you're down.
Well, because it sounds like you're just very involved, you're very knowledgeable about music and the industry. What inspired you to get involved with it to start with?
I don't know. I always had a love and an ear for music, but honestly, my first goal was football. Like, I was a football player to the core. I used to love it, but what ended up happening was I kind of just, you know, I drifted away from it after I didn't get to college to play, and I've been kind of pushing the music button ever since.
So that competitive stuff you had for athletics is carried over to your music now.
Right, and I just started growing more and more lyrically ever since, and I just developed a better ear for it.
Good deal.
Played a couple of instruments and everything else.
And now here we are. Well, Night Wolf, we got to get out of here, man. We got 30 seconds. Tell the people where they can find you at, online, and other places too.
Online, you can find me on Facebook, www.facebook.com/FFL Nightwolf, or you can find me on Twitter at Nightwolf_FFL. You can also find my label there, and a couple other artists that are with us. You can also find me on ReverbNation.com/FFL Nightwolf.
There it is, people. Nightwolf FL is in the house. Underground will be here next week. Check them out. And don't just like it, share it, and send it to a friend. My name is Quintin. We'll see you next week on The Underground. Thank you so much.
What I'm about, kicking verses, new limits from the basement of the house. Creative juices flowing like a spout. Genius knocking at the door till I let it spill out. I'm the vessel, golden child of this music flicking.